and welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is a brand new edition of 5 Round MMA. Today's episode is brought to you by our fine sponsors, Rocket Green Eco-Friendly Cleaning Products, 5 Rounds Clothing Line, and of course the RMA Foundation, Redemption Martial Arts. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside Ms. Albert Cita, and joined back now with us this week, Guillermo Cita. We got a lot to talk about. UFC 179's in the books. Pretty gritty and tough bout the main event was between Jose Aldo and Chad Mendes. Hopefully today's show will be gritty and tough, guys, right?
I think it's gonna be. Apparently, it's not.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's not gonna be.
Because this whole week Albert was been bragging rights, saying that he won last week's Mr. Matchmaker game, and he was also last week's Rock and Green star of the show. But in your absence, he's been a lot of trash talk around here, man.
Albert just has a little advantage today too. I partied hard last night. I woke up early for my soccer practice, soccer game today. So I'm a little worn out.
Worn out for this show. Before we get to UFC 179, I want to talk about a little news and notes in this first segment. Lot to talk about. Well, I guess in the grand scheme of things, this one hits a little close to home. What was supposed to be the greatest card in UFC Mexican history is now in shambles. UFC 180.
I think they're down to just 2 Mexicans, right?
Yeah, right.
And our favorite Mexicans are the ones out of the
Cain Velasquez. I think it was an injury.
Yeah, I think it was meniscus.
Hey, wait, time out. By the way, if anybody out there likes the Wikipedia, please Wikipedia Phil Davis. They have the most wonderful picture of him up on Wikipedia.
He's just walking down like New York City without a shirt.
We'll get to Phil Davis in the next segment. But I want to talk about UFC 180, which is supposed to be a pride. Azteca Stadium, 180,000 people. And Cain Velasquez pulls out with a knee injury.
Mark
Hunt is filling in against Fabricio Verdum, was now at the interim title belt. And also, later on in the week, we learned that Joe Lozon pulled out of his Diego Sanchez fight. A couple days later, Diego Sanchez pulled out the whole fight together. So, first thoughts on Cain Velasquez's injury. Guillermo, I know you're a big fan of his. You're obviously disappointed, right?
I'm disappointed. At the same time, I'm also a little nervous. I mean, this guy, he fights and he beats people like very high level talent, but then he gets hurt right after that fight. It was the shoulder. Now it's his knee. It sucks because I hope that this doesn't go against him when you think about his legacy and his career in UFC.
Yeah, is this gonna hurt his legacy? You think? I mean, like he last fought in 2013, October 2013, so it's been over a year. Right?
Well, the good thing is that Cain already had the surgery, and it was a successful surgery. There's no complications, stuff like that. And they're saying he can get back in the gym in a few months. So hopefully, we'll actually see him mid-year,
springtime maybe.
Yeah, maybe springtime. But
it's like what's more rare, like a lunar eclipse or Cain Velasquez fight at this point.
The way they talk, I don't think it's going to have any effect on his performance.
Yeah.
But it will taint his legacy.
Yeah.
Like when you look back in history, you're like, who's the greatest? It's going to be hard to really put Cain Velasquez up there just because he wasn't as active as any other champion.
Well, I think he also has kind of the benefit of the doubt of, and if you go back in the history of the UFC, the heavyweight division has been the weakest division of all time. I mean, look at Brock Lesnar's reign. It was riddled with injuries. Before that, with the whole Randy Couture contract dispute, and then Boss Rutan retiring, and all this stuff. You go back to them. Who's been the most,
But even if you go back to Tim Silver, who I think has probably had the most success, he was going
consistent,
back,
right?
He was going back and forth with Arlovsky,
Yeah.
and then you had a bunch of guys that weren't really considered top contenders.
Yeah.
Well, let's say right now in the heavyweight, I would say this is the deepest it's ever been, even though it's not the strongest. Yeah. And Cain Velasquez is still the champion of that, so I still think he's one of the best ever, and I think he still gets the respect as the baddest man on the planet.
But with that said, I really think Mark Hunt is gonna steal the show on this Mexican card, to tell you the truth.
Get some Mexican fans,
even though Cain Velasquez would have been wonderful for the Mexican fans, but I really do think Mark Hunt's still going to bring it, and the Mexicans are still going to enjoy a good old
Hunt.
Yeah.
like I like the Mark Hunt, but they just overlook my boy Stipe Miocic, even though I know he's fighting Junior Dos Santos.
Very true.
But I think Stipe Miocic should have deserved.
But see, that's what I think the UFC is so thin right now. Like that string is so thin, they literally can't move other cards like that. I think they're like, this card right now it needs to be saved, and there's no way we can move it from this card because then this card's gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
So they're literally.
But my problem is, let's say Stipe Miocic loses to Junior Dos Santos. Does Junior Dos Santos now get into the title picture? Let's say against Verdum or
I think it's pretty much a tournament right now. Winner of this card will face the winner of.
But see, you can never do Cain Velasquez versus Junior Dos Santos ever again.
I think it all depends on how long we see Velasquez out.
So,
right?
but you're saying
is there a possibility that the winner of Verdum and Hunt will defend the interim title one time? You think?
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be off the winner of Junior Dos Santos.
But
that's what
that's my point. If Junior Dos Santos beats Stipe Miocic, it's gonna throw a wrench into everything.
Yeah, but you're telling me if Junior Dos Santos wins twice in a row, they won't give him that Cain Velasquez match. You have to. There's no other option you can do.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, it's not that you want to see it. What else would you do? He cleared.
But that's my point. They should have just
division again.
They should have just put Stipe Miocic versus Verdum, and then let that play out.
But see, it's. Like I tell you, it's very thin right now. You can't be subbing like that, but
well,
it's a weird state.
Speaking of great fighters, Diego Sanchez is also out. First was Joe Lozon, kind of dropped out unexplainably, and I guess it was a what did he say? I guess some kind of weird injury that kind of happened. Right?
To me, this went from a pay-per-view card that for sure we were going to order to I'm hoping it's Fox Sports 1 now.
Yeah,
because I mean, nothing against Mark Hunt. I love Mark Hunt. You know, I love Kevin Gaslam. I like Dennis Bermudez, but it just still doesn't
Ricardo Lamas.
Yeah, Ricardo Lamas. Sorry, I'm sorry, Alex. Ricardo Lamas.
We always forget.
But
about
I still don't feel the pay-per-view value there.
Yeah.
I really it feels to me more of a Fox Sports 1.
It's kind of a shame with his grand thing.
Yeah.
Man, also, I want to jump on one more thing. We talked about a couple weeks ago, but Kung Lee actually won his appeal process.
Didn't we say that he was going to win it?
Yeah,
I said. I was saying the whole. I think I was seeing it the loudest.
Yeah.
That that was going to happen.
Loudest in the empty room, right? So he wins his process. No longer suspended. UFC said, you know what, you're right. We listened to the doctors. It was kind of weird, but he also demanded an apology. Is that a little asking too much, Guillermo?
I don't think it's asking for too much. I mean, like,
it's not like they tainted his name, right?
Well, that's my point. He felt like his name was tainted with the use of illegal drugs or performance enhancing drugs. So I mean, come on, hey, at least apologize that you messed up and put my name.
I kind of feel like, okay, you got enough for the appeal process. Now you're asking for an apology. Come on, bro.
Albert's on Wikipedia. I'm sure it's on Wikipedia right now that he used performance enhancing drugs. Come on.
Oh well, first of all, I was studying up on performance enhancing drugs. I learned absolutely. I learned absolutely nothing. But I really do think they owe him an apology because when it comes to this type of sport. Something like using drugs and stuff like that to enhance your performance is a very touchy subject, and it can ruin a career. You know, Vanderlei Silva, I think, pretty much ruined his legacy with the whole thing the whole shabacle that happened in Las Vegas testing. And I really do think this means more to fighters because it can literally ruin your career. Yeah. And I do think he does deserve an apology because he's going to be tainted with this whole controversy.
He was also very active too. Kung Lee was on. If you go on his social media, especially Instagram, he would repost pictures of like either fans or I think his trainer and his doctor saying, "No, he's innocent. He's innocent." And he was from like day one. He was pretty much out there to clear his name. So his name is now cleared. Now just kind of sit back at the UFC hasn't given him anything, or just you sit you out for a year anyway. So like you said, Guillermo, until we go back to China again.
Yeah.
So. I think that's it for the news and notes. So stick around. I want to talk about UFC 179 and just see how kind of down we are about Money Mendes giving the performance of a lifetime, but coming up short. So stick around, guys.
Looks like I can't cash in that check, huh?
Please visit 5roundmma.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. 5roundmma.com.
Welcome back. UFC 179 is in the books now. We have all our latest reaction to the card as a whole. Well, not as a whole. Basically, the main event and the co-main event, right, guys?
Well, to be honest, that's what everybody was excited for was the main event and co-main event.
Guillermo actually brought up a really good point yesterday when we were talking about this pay-per-view because he was like, if you look at it, you're paying $25 per fight because you're paying for the co-main event and the main event because to tell you the truth, past that, and no disrespect to any of those fighters, not that many people knew about, not that many people cared about, not that many implications were even put.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. A really good point. So let's jump right to the co-main event. Phil Davis.
You said good point, but he got it off of me.
Good point. Good point, Guillermo.
I get the point because I brought it up and he didn't bring it up his own point.
So let's jump right to the co-main event. I guess it was was it a crucial light heavyweight bout, Guillermo? Between Glover Teixeira and Phil Davis?
Yes, because Phil Davis kind of got overlooked, especially after losing against Rumble Johnson. John Bone Jones even said, hey, how about you worry about your fights instead of worrying about me, and now look, now you back down to the totem pole. but I think this is a very important. Other than Glover Teixeira, if you look at the light heavyweight, Phil Davis has beat the best of the best in that division.
He's beat Machida, right?
I really think that this Phil Davis just bought himself some more time because Anthony Rumble Johnson. We don't know when he's gonna fight.
Yeah.
So you can almost erase. You can erase him out of the picture.
As of right now, he's one guy ahead of him.
And the only other person there is Alexander Gustafsson,
Yeah.
which Phil Davis has the win over. So I really do think now he bought himself more time as far as becoming the number one contender.
So
I totally disagree on that point. I don't think he won't be the number one contender until like late fall of next year. The thing is that
Gustafsson has to fight somebody.
Well,
you think he's gonna wait this long? To jump. Let's say the John Jones and DC fight go, and it's a slobber knocker, and we know that DC needs to get that knee repaired, regardless, win or lose. He has to repair the knee, right? We don't know how John Jones is gonna end up. I'm telling you, I really do think he can sneak into the back door
yeah, but a fight between Phil Davis and Gustafsson is, to me, it's a lose-lose for either or. I mean, they just want a shot at John Jones or that title, and I think, knocking each other out, because I think right now they can get to that spot around each other, like going different routes.
No, but
that's true. That's I see that.
Because to me, Phil Davis, if he were to fight Rashad Evans to avenge his loss, if he were to fight Anthony Rumble Johnson, if he gets out of his suspension to avenge those losses, I'm pretty sure with any of those wins, sets him up to John Jones. And Alexander Gustafsson can go a different route. Let's say even a warm-up fight.
They gave him Jamie Manwalk.
Another fight like that, and then it's like, oh look, Gustafsson's still really good. Let's give him John Jones because he technically, according to Albert, beat John Jones already.
You guys are missing the story.
Like his first Fabio.
Well, the story is a triple threat match. Pretty much.
No.
I wish
No.
John Jones, Daniel Cormier, and Alexander Gustafsson. That's why Phil Davis is out of it.
This is why WWE would never sign you a part of the creative team.
Okay.
Now, right now,
I like it already.
What I'm going to do right now is a pitch to Stephanie McMahon to join the creative team at WWE.
Okay. And of course, he goes to WWE PG instead of going to the Attitude Era like I am.
Let me show you why it's a better story than Alexander Gustafsson, right? Phil Davis beats Alexander Gustafsson. Alexander Gustafsson gets so mad he goes and trains with Phil Davis, right? Correct.
Oh my god.
And then when they finally shows that they're about to collide, guess what? When Alexander Gustafsson is at the very top, what does he do? He leaves Alliance MMA and goes and joins his own MMA. So beautiful story right there. Phil Davis said, "Hey, dude, you left us when you were on top, but guess what? You shouldn't have never left." And there's your story. There's the pay-per-view numbers.
Yeah, but if you're in the heads of them, I mean, if I'm Phil Davis or Alexander Gustafsson, I would not take those fights.
True.
And that's just my personal opinion. But at the same time, really quick. I just lost my train of thought.
Okay, well, I want to go to the way.
Oh no! Now I remember Phil Davis called out Anderson Silva at the end of the fight. That's what I was going to bring.
That was my next question. So we're talking about title shot. Obviously, a fight with Anderson Silva won't get him anywhere.
But wait a second.
But because I told you it's a triple threat match, he has to wait in the back seat. Why not?
I think we're missing the important part here. Did he mean at 185 or 205? Because if he meant 185, this is huge. No, it's gigantic.
Yeah.
If he can go at 185, defeat Anderson Silva, that's an automatic title.
Well,
you have to. There's no way you cannot put him in the title picture, right?
I agree.
See, but if it's at 205, this is just a novelty fight, right?
Okay. Well, I mean, you think he's doing that because obviously his win over Glover Teixeira was a unanimous decision. He scored, I think, a career high 9 takedowns. But before the fight, he was saying he had a killer instinct in interviews. Like a quote from Phil Davis: "I have the killer instinct. I have the ability to finish guys. I've done it before. Whatever it takes, I've got it." But that really didn't prove to be the point on Saturday. So do you think maybe he knows internally, I got to step up my value as a finisher before I could call out title shots?
And then he has a thing going for him. He is the Brazilian killer right now.
He doesn't like that.
He's Christian. He's Christian. But he already has 4 wins against top Brazilians.
In
so
Brazil, right?
Brazil. Exactly. That's even more impressive.
Sakuraba made his whole career as the Gracie killer because he defeated all the Gracies. Hey, this can work just for Mr. Wonderful.
Well, I just think calling out Anderson Silva, now that I'm examining a little bit more, I think to meet him at 185.
If that's hypothetically.
Yeah, it's hypothetical. But I mean, like, maybe Phil Davis finally gets his title shot because that light heavyweight, he's not getting it.
True.
So I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
And a win over Anderson Silva, I totally agree with him. He skips over everybody.
Yeah.
And hey, Chris Weidman, I'm right here.
If it's at 185, then this is a serious move. If he's talking about 205, it's just a novelty fight. It's just like I think he's just trying to say his stock is worth something.
Yeah. Real quick too. Have we seen the real Glover Teixeira now?
Yeah. I mean, I told you guys from day one. I haven't not been impressed by Glover Teixeira because I felt he tiptoed or went a different route instead of facing the top light heavyweights, and that's how he was able to get a shot at John Bone Jones. And I feel bad for Phil Davis because it should have been Phil Davis instead of Glover Teixeira to begin with.
Have we seen him? Not it's two in a row top contenders.
Yeah, but
the champion and the top contender.
But I think that question mark was always there because he never faced a true wrestler.
Was it Ryan Bader?
But come on, Ryan Bader isn't a true wrestling MMA guy. He went out there swinging. What I'm trying to say is, he wasn't thinking wrestling first. Ryan Bader was thinking knockout first. Yeah. And obviously he stood with Glover Teixeira.
But my point is, remember Glover Teixeira, 20 wins in a row. Nobody wants to face this guy. Nobody fought this guy. You know, now he's kind of like, okay.
But no one trying to take him down.
Don't stand with the guy.
Yeah.
So now we kind of see him now. I think that the blueprint's out for Glover Teixeira now.
Yeah, exactly. So I think at this point, Glover Teixeira really needs to go back and work on the drawing board because now he's the one on the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah, really. So now I want to switch gears to the main event, Jose Aldo versus Chad Mendes 2. This is all about Chad Mendes' redemption. Shot at the title's really his. Almost 2 years of straight knockout wins, and the fight as a whole did not disappoint. It was a war between both guys, gritty war, knockdowns here and there, eye pokes, low blows. But unfortunately for Chad Mendes, he came out on the short end of the stick this time. So I want Albert, we had this conversation last week about Jose Aldo's title reign as a whole. Does this kind of maybe put a stamp on it? Is he kind of done now, or should he move on to better things? Has he cleared the division, or what do you think? His performance, were you impressed by his performance?
I was very impressed by the performance. I really do think this should have been the stamp. A keyword should have been the stamp. I mean, this should have been the fight. His last fight at this weight category, and then move on to lightweight.
Yeah.
But the only reason I said should have is because this guy named Conor McGregor.
The storm.
Conor McGregor. No one saw the storm coming, and now that the storm's here, I think if he were to leave, it's nothing but negative because now it's kind of
running from Conor.
Yeah,
quote unquote running from Conor McGregor.
So unfortunately, even though this should have been what I think his farewell to this weight division.
Yeah.
Now he has to face Conor McGregor, and then we get to see if Jose Aldo moves on or actually shows his legacy because he can lose by knockout, and his whole reign can probably be erased.
So I'm gonna ask the captain of the Conor McGregor
fan club,
Guillermo here. Aldo's performance.
He's even wearing a Celtics shirt right now. I know you guys can't see it because we're doing audio only this week, but he is wearing a Celtics t-shirt, and he's very green right now.
I'm very Irish today.
He defeats Chad Mendes, who's basically a threat in the division for the second time already.
Yes.
Now, kind of like, is it Conor McGregor? That's it for him?
Well, no. I think for Aldo, I think his legacy can be at featherweight.
Really?
You look at Cub Swanson, you look at Frankie Edgar, you look at Conor McGregor. That's the three really good fights for him. Why?
But he has already defeated Cub Swanson and Frankie Edgar. That's why I'm not saying that these guys aren't a changed fighter or these guys can't compete with them. But the fact that he already has a win over them can allow him to leave the division. So
are you saying he has 2 fights at 145 at most?
See, the
legitimate fights, you think?
But the thing is, on Jose Aldo, because he hasn't finished these guys.
Yeah.
It's I know. Did he beat? He finished Cub Swanson, right?
Yeah. He finished Cub Swanson, and then Frankie Edgar went the distance.
Yeah, he went the distance with Frankie Edgar. And Frankie Edgar wants a shot against him. No matter. Here's the thing.
It doesn't matter what Frankie Edgar wants, bro.
But
I'm talking Frankie Edgar here.
But this is 2 years ago, bro.
Let's say Jose Aldo moves to lightweight. All these guys are gonna chase him. Conor McGregor, Cub Swanson, and Frankie Edgar. I think so. Even Chad Money Mendes will move up. I'm guaranteed.
I'm telling you, Conor McGregor already said he wants to probably win the title, defend it, and then move up.
Wow.
And I really, but I really think that. I mean, like, let's say Chad Mendes would have won the fight, right? And he beats Conor McGregor. What's left for him really in that weight class? Well, he cleared it out already.
True, but there's guys like Club Swanson. In a couple fights there. Well, are we talking about like just division the whole now? Maybe it's too top heavy, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's just spooning over now.
Yeah.
It's time to move up to the lightweight.
Well, it feels like the 205 division where it's like, okay, you didn't win against John Jones. We'll go either to 185 or try to find yourself again at 205.
So basically, I think we're kind of agreement that at least 2 more fights for Aldo before you even think about moving up?
I'm thinking just one.
Just one, Conor McGregor?
Conor McGregor.
But isn't Conor McGregor supposed to fight Dennis Seaver now?
Yes, in December.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is that kind of a...
Well,
here's the thing.
You saw Aldo's face. He has to recover.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and then the other thing is, I saw an interview with Conor McGregor and Chad Mendes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, that was so good.
That was so...
I kind of felt bad for Chad Mendes.
So, for...
It's like The Rock and Gordon Benston, the king of promos when it's like, like...
First of all, I even though that was a cool interaction, how unprofessional. How dare you call Chad Mendes while Conor McGregor's right there?
Yeah.
Who does that? Who does that?
So, for Conor McGregor, there's 3 fights still left at featherweight.
For Aldo.
No, for Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor, okay.
There's Dennis Seaver, there's Chad Mendes, and there's Jose Aldo, because I'm pretty sure Conor McGregor wants the title before he moves up to any weight class. So, I mean, if Jose Aldo takes a lot of time off, get ready for that Chad Mendes versus Conor McGregor, and I can't wait.
Let me ask you guys a question. In 2015, will we see Aldo at 155? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes?
I'd say yes.
Late
155.
Because I say win or lose against Conor, he moves up.
Yeah.
If it's a devastating loss, he moves quickly to 155.
Really?
I think he says, you know what, I'm not gonna wait no more.
That's crazy. So I'm gonna switch gears actually to Chad Mendes. This is twice already. He's lost a title bout. You see, he was a train wreck to get the title shot, but came up short again. It was an awesome performance by any means. But what's his next career move, Guillermo?
See, it's tough because the way he's built.
He can't really drop and he can't really move.
Yeah,
up.
because
He's kind of too short for 155.
just watching that Conor McGregor interview, he says he's 5'6" and walking around 145
and he's a stocky 5'6".
So imagine.
I wish. I
And then
was
he asked Conor. He asked Conor McGregor, "How tall are you, Conor?"
I'll feel like a Greek. Sorry, I keep going there, but I feel like a Greek god if I was 5'6" and looked like Chad Mendes.
But I think Conor McGregor said he's like 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah.
So I mean, and we got to think about like Nate Diaz is and all these tall people.
Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah, and they're dropping down from.
We saw what happened with just recently against Eddie Alvarez. What happens when it's a shorter 155er?
Yeah.
So the thing is, does Money Mendes get a little more lean and drop down? That's the real question.
Yeah, well,
because
it says here Conor McGregor is 5'9".
5'9". According to Wikipedia.
And again, if you're a Wikipedia out there, go check out Conor McGregor.
That is an awesome picture.
He actually has an amazing picture. Opposite of Mr. Wonderful, he's nice in a good suit, and he's on point.
So I mean, 135 does kind of make sense because you would think that, well, his boy TJ Dillashaw is champion, but
the thing is, I'm pretty sure Chad Mendes will start from the bottom, and TJ Dillashaw has Dominic Cruz coming up. So if Dominic Cruz is able to defeat TJ Dillashaw, stick the hounds.
Yeah. Well, real quick, Chad Mendes isn't completely out of the picture. Let's keep
as long as Jose Aldo's there, he's out of the picture.
But what I'm thinking is, look, if Conor McGregor beats Jose Aldo, Chad Mendes probably is up next.
Even though I want to see that fight again,
if Jose Aldo wins and he doesn't want to move up, everybody's gonna want to see part 3 because part 2 was so good.
We want to, but I'm pretty sure the normal fan base does not want to see a third fight.
When it comes to 2 years to get a second rematch.
But when it comes to these type of fights, he's quick to do it.
Yeah.
The only other time that we couldn't do it is the Alexander Gustafsson fight, but that's because John Bon Jones was crying not to have the fight.
True.
And I don't think Jose Aldo was like that.
I'm not going to agree with that. But yeah, I mean, it's just a little unfortunate for the team alpha males. It seems like the guys who can't really... it's not really coaching, right? I mean, Dwayne Ludwig's kind of like, I tried. I mean, Faber came up short. Benavidez came up short. Mendes came up short. It's just TJ Dillashaw.
I just felt... what sucks is, like, they talked a lot about striking when I really felt they should have wrestled. Go to bread and butter. I think wrestling would have won that match.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that... Jose Aldo was slowing down towards the end of his fight. So
I really think if he would have pushed the pace and really got those takedowns, it would have.
I just think it's funny that Albert did not mention the conspiracy theory behind this one.
Oh, it was a conspiracy theory. We have time.
Not conspiracy, but
that's for another episode because they're like every Brazilian matchup I see now. There's always a little cheat move.
Oh wow, we'll go save that for next week. We'll go into it. But until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 5RoundMMA. It's FIVE. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic. And always check out the newly designed, evolving.
We dissolved the website to redesign the website.
It's designing. It's evolving. 5RoundMMA.com is what I meant to say. And I guess we have really no help here today. So you guys want to appoint the Rock and Green star of the
I
show?
think we're gonna have to do it old school and just say a draw.
Draw.
Okay.
Paper, rock, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors.
No, we'll do
We'll
a draw.
for a draw. Just because I think I won, but then Guillermo did talk somewhat, so I guess we'll do a draw.
We're all superstars.
And he used my
of the
point,
show.
so
Oh,
I
he
mean-
did. Oh yeah, so point to Guillermo. So, Rock and Green eco-friendly soaps, cleaning products. Please visit rockandgreensoap.com for the full line of eco-friendly soaps and detergents, and follow them on Twitter at Rock and Green Soap. And a big thank you to 5 Rounds Clothing Line, makers of high quality MMA clothes and accessories. Please shop 5rounds.clothing. That's a number 5 rounds.clothing, and follow them on Twitter at 5roundswear. And a big thank you to Redemption Martial Arts. The RMA Foundation is a non-profit organization committed to anti-bullying awareness. Visit their website, redemptionmartialarts.com, to see how you can join the movement to stop bullying. Follow them on Twitter at redemption_MA. Rise up against bullying.
I'd like to thank our executive producer Guillermo Cita.
Shout out to Razzle Records.
Shout out to Razzle Records, our engineer, which is me today. And I know everybody wants to know. I got Seth Rollins winning in the Hell in a Cell, and I got Randy Orton winning in the Hell in the Cell.
Well, Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar. Sorry for the
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert.
Man, get off the dirt sheets, bro. Thanks everybody for listening.
Oh yeah, cream of the crop.